Hello, this is the recap video for session 5 of Furry Cartooning for Amateurs, Summer 2026. This is for the students who have missed the class tonight. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of activities that you can do on your own, but also if you're following along with the class, I'll also talk about things that we did. And yeah, so tonight's main event was the Outside Wolves guest lecture. If you would like to see a recording of the lecture that he did, it wasn't a recording of the lecture that he did in winter. We recorded after the fact, him giving the same lecture. It was pretty similar. There were definitely some changes. I'm gonna let the cat out of the room. Okay, so there were some changes. And I might look through some of my notes and add some things that he said in response to questions, which are most of the information for the questions were new to me too. So we'll do that, and we did the YCH Boss game, which is a collaboration game where you make YCH formats, and then we did our art looking session, and then I explained the homework. So. If you'd like, the warm-up activity was the attendance card, and I'll move over to the document cam. So, attendance card, for 3 minutes, draw yourself surfing with a shark. This is my result, and what do I want to say about this? A lot of people ended up drawing anthropomorphic sharks, which was kind of my goal, actually. Um, So, yeah, 3 minutes, attendance card, draw a big frame, name the top left, date at the top right. Okay, and then we went to his lecture. So let me take a quick look through my notes and see if there's anything that I kind of want to add. Um, yeah, so between his work, there was a question about the difference between his media artwork and his cartooning, and whether or not to move things into the move like furry stuff in the media art space. Particularly, is there any interest? And he said the closest thing he's gotten to that, he doesn't have a big interest in that. Closest thing he's got to that was this piece, which I actually have. It's an unlimited run piece that was from that he brought to exhibited at for room party. Sorry, it's after class room party, and so this is one. And there's something on the back too that he wrote that should be online somewhere. Um, because that was kind of like a gallery-ish space that had been furried, I'll say. Okay, those are my own words though. What else? Um, I'm gonna look through this page of notes. Got multiple pages of notes. Oh, drawing things that are sad. Someone brought up a question related to that. And he said, some artists draw things that to help them process things, especially sad things. And he tried doing that for one thing, and it didn't really work for him. So that was interesting. And about posting, I think something funny that he said was, sometimes compliments are really useful in posting, and in his early days of posting, which I had a question about. He said, you wake up and you see like, 10 compliments from international like just like connections over the internet, in 2010. You wake up to that and that's like a dopamine rush that would kill a Victorian child. I thought that was pretty funny. Um, yeah. And he says also there's a question about art block, right? And he said it's easy to doodle for him, but hard to see projects to completion, especially with his style where he's like really starting with doodling. He's not running into a lot of the, oh, what should I draw? which prompted me to say, oh, one time we talked about, you know, I don't know. No, I won't include that here. Um, well, no. Yeah, one time he talked about sitting down and drawing. Like, even he can sit down and draw and say, like, oh, here I go. I just drew a wolf in front of a computer again. And that was so relieving to me. And I think he mentions that in the recorded lecture that he did this past winter. Okay, so there's a little bit more for you. And then we moved to YCH Boss. So I will show you YCH Boss. And if you want the link to the recorded video, maybe I'll put it here. Maybe if I learn how to put a little a link in a video, I'll put it here. Okay. So YCH Boss. This is a game where everyone comes up with YCH formats, and I recommend memes, but it doesn't have to be. It could be anything. YCH stands for your character here. So here's this this meme, right? And here's examples of people. And then so you have 3 minutes to do a meme, and then everyone has 3 minutes. We choose a random meme. So I did this. I downloaded all of the memes, and then I did that, and so 11. Okay, so the 11th one that I downloaded from everyone's uploads, that was that we all had to do. So if it was this one, then we have a bunch of people. This is from YCH Boss at Anthrocon that I led. So here's some examples. Sorry guys, I gotta push you out of the way here. Examples of people's responses, and this was mine. Okay, so there's that, and here's some other examples of, like, there's me putting Gabu Mat in there, Gabu Cat in there. This was a YCH. I think this was at Wapafua, Western PA Furry Weekend. That's my result. All these different things. So, okay. So we did that, a few rounds of that. And then we went into the looking at art. So I'll show you what I did for looking at art. State by Gorepup 2026. Vec 2025. Are You Bonding by Am I Right 2024. Monster Sovka on Tumblr 2026. Snack Pony 2026. Take a good long look was what this was called, I think. Man's Best Friend Model V150/4000-4200 by Nick Anor. Blog Tegelsteg on Tumblr. And then STRFLR Sidrux in quotations. In parentheses 2026. And then next we had Hot Chick Hell 2025. And then we had Throat Spit 2026. And then we had Coca Dope 2025. Then we had Moss Topher 2026. Then we had Scoopy 2025. Then Rolf from 2022. And then Outside Wolves 2019. Okay. And then the final thing was I communicated the homework. Here's the homework. So the number one thing, if you were to do anything, this is the number one optional homework, which is to go to a cafe, like Outside Wolves does, and draw for at least an hour. And this isn't like a push yourself thing. This is something he reminded us was like, this is like a cafe where you're comfortable. So, or a library if you'd like. I tried the library and the cafe, and I had a better time at the cafe because I was so caffeinated. It really helped. I was also there with my boyfriend, and he was writing and I was drawing, and it was really useful to have someone else sit there too, especially if you need someone to watch your stuff while you go to the bathroom. Recommend doing a niche subject, like the subject matter could be a niche interest of yours. Just like just start drawing. Try to draw for an hour. Make it furry. Niche interest, make it furry. Hopefully you're drawing something you don't know what you're going to draw next. Where is that allowed to happen? The mixed media paper, your comp book, note cards, a napkin. And then the other thing is 6-panel quick comics, which is an activity we didn't have time for tonight, which is fine. A good problem to have. We had lots of questions for Outside Wolves, but I want to show a screenshot from Lynda Barry's Instagram. This is um, a screenshot from Lynda Barry's Instagram. This is a format that she's done like a diary format, except it's not really a diary. And she calls it the Quick Six. Sometimes she calls it Ponder Comics. It's a little bit different, but the Quick Six is fast. Look how she draws the panels. She doesn't draw 6 boxes. She just makes a big old one, and then she splits it up. So that's a full comp book page. And then sometimes she uses this to ponder something. So this is like a recommended if you want to draw even more every day. It doesn't have to be at night because it's not a diary entry. Quick Six, and then I'm gonna scroll to another section of things that I took a picture of. Um, like here's a more simple version of this. It's gonna be fiction too. I took so many screenshots of her doing this. Um, yeah, I can't even find the one that I read out loud for the class because I took so many. Um, oh yeah, this is the one. So there, go ahead and read that. That's how she's talking about it. Drawing a 6-panel comic in 20 minutes in the morning invites these creatures to come into the clearing. The landing space for things unthought but somehow known and recognized when they appear. Okay, cool. Yep, that's it for tonight. Happy drawing.